Call this meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, she's coming.
Oh, she's coming. I thought I saw her. Secretary will call the clerk will call the roll.
Miss Smiley Robertson.
Here. Gotcha.
Mr. Putoff.
Here.
Mr. Sextro.
Here.
Mr. Burke.
Here.
Ms. McDaniel. Here. Mr. Albrecht.
Here.
So the first thing we're going to have is a public hearing tonight on the budget. Is there anyone who wants to testify about the budget or talk about the budget?
She's here. Maybe she will motion to open and close it.
Want me to look for them?
No, that's okay.
No.
I mean, nobody here to talk about the budget, so we'll move into the
Motion to close.
motion to close the meeting on the budget.
So moved. Second.
Questions?
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel. Yes. Did I forget one?
No, we're just saying that the two Burks are confusing.
Burke and Burks.
I was ready to vote.
They're spelled different.
All right.
We are,
Oh, yeah, is the minutes have been previously distributed. Is there any additions, corrections, or changes? If not, can I have a motion to accept the minutes as prepared?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Now the question is for the Finance Committee and Mr. Albrecht.
Yeah, Mayor had month-to-date expenditures exceeded receipts by about $9,200 last month. However, year-to-date receipts still exceed expenditures in the positive of about $450,000. So unfortunately, we're not going to hit our budget. It doesn't look like we're going to hit our budget of $14.4 million. We'll still be over $14 million. So we'll be a little bit short, but the most important thing is that expenditures are less than receipts. Receipts exceed expenditures, so that's the critical part. So we'll be adjusting, or we have adjusted the budget for next year, expecting it to be, again, a little bit lower than tradition. The Gorman Farm, a lot of news down there. Tricia Watt's last day as executive director was November 26th. Nicole Gunderman has been appointed the new executive director. I know their report indicated interim. They have since made her a formal proposal, and she will be the new executive director. I think everybody's had the chance to meet her. She brings a lot of energy. She does.
And I think she brings a lot of skills to the position also. Be very good.
Renovation continues on the Soil and Star building, and for those who aren't aware, that's the former UAW building that sits next to or across the drive from the Boy Scouts and in front of the farm. That's a collaboration between the farm and another nonprofit, and they're expecting that to be completed, the first phase, by early January, so they're moving along. And for those who like to shop down at the farm, they're calling it a bumper crop of potatoes. So they've got a lot of potatoes down there, and they also have a new batch of hens, and so they're going to have plenty of eggs through the winter for those that are interested. Engineering and service, all the trucks, I hate reporting this each year, but all the trucks are prepped for winter snow removal. Just the reality of the season. The amphitheater.
We hope we never need them.
We hope. The amphitheater, the wall, for those who have noticed that the lettering on the wall has been falling off, those letters are currently being recoded, and that they're going to reinstall those when the weather allows them to get out and give proper adhesion. Leaf bags, again, another huge number of leaf bags. 22,700 bags were distributed to 360 households. That's a lot of leaf raking. Engineering, the Duke pipeline, they're going to be performing, and for those who are wondering about where we are in the testing and turning that line actually on, they're doing the final testing beginning in December and going to run through beginning of next year before they put the service actually, or the main in service. And Reading Road Bridge, the contractor is installing the gas main on the bridge, and that should be completed for those who travel down towards Reading. That should be completed by the end of the month. And recreation, at the suggestion or encouragement of council, the Rec Commission evaluated fees. The fees had not been increased in 17 years. So I want to thank the Rec Commission for going through that analysis, seeing where the appropriate level of increases would be. You're going to see some increases for some activities. Certainly the membership fees are going up. You can go to the Evendale Rec website and get those specific details. Some did not go up, but I want to thank the Rec Commission for going through and analyzing all the different things, because it was well overdue. It's been 17 years, and we were, if anybody asked any of their neighbors, we were well below what the normal rates would be. We also have an opening on the Rec Commission. We had a member step down, so we have to fill that, so I guess you contact the mayor, unless you've already filled it. We filled it. Well, then never mind. Just going off your report, which is a week. And then lastly, it's a season, and the village is again sponsoring the Frame USA Fill the Truck campaign through the rec department. So for those who are interested, please participate. That's all, Mayor.
Any questions, comments? All right, then let's go to police and fire.
Okay, let me start with fire. Speak to some personnel changes that are going to be happening in January. Due to the departure of Lieutenant Relay and the upcoming retirement of Captain Roa in February, Lieutenant Bob Lehman will be promoted to captain, and firefighter paramedic Dave Stark will be promoted to lieutenant. Okay. The chief has prepared ads for, to fill the positions created.
Captain.
Yes. Did he decide to go ahead and advertise in the newspaper, do you know?
For the open positions?
Yes.
I believe so. Julie said the other day that she was finalizing that, so.
Okay. We were looking for alternatives.
I got a paper about the ad.
Yeah, there's a flyer. It's been advertised on Facebook.
Okay.
I saw earlier today on a recruitment site that has both the building department opening and the fire department openings. If you click on it, it takes you directly to the village's webpage.
Okay. Okay. Also, the chief shared some information for us for council's understanding that our pay is no longer differentiation with other communities. Some union negotiations have allowed other communities to catch up to where we are, and some of their benefits are better. So he's doing a salary study, an informal salary study, to try to get us some more information in that area.
And I might say, I've asked all the departments
To do the same.
do the same thing. What we're going to do in January, I'd like, if you can all get out your books, to have executive session at council to talk about village finances in January. You can be looking while we finish this report.
Okay, keep reporting. The chief and the Chief Financial Officer, have been spending a lot of time on the audit from Medicare. The data,
That might have been me, sorry.
the data collection process starts January 1st, and it's a 12-month process. And then our report is due no later than June 30th of 2023. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And as you notice, Captain Graham is here because the chief is on vacation for the rest of the year. And I wanted to talk about COVID. The chief sent me some new statistics different than the ones we got in email, and so I thought I should go through them because they represent a substantial increase. There are 6,900 cases currently in Hamilton County. There are 3 active cases here in the village. The R factor for the county has increased to 1.39, which is a 2.02% positivity rate. There have been 546 hospitalized patients, 135 of those in ICU, and of those, 107 are on ventilators. This is stretching hospital loads increasingly. And the infection rate in Hamilton County is keeping the county in a high category, and as is every other county in the state. And this was as of last Thursday. The vaccination rate is 61.54% for those above 12 years of age, 72.9% for the total population, which means they included anyone above the age of 5, which compares to the state vaccination rate of 58.31% for those who were above 12 years. So 10% of the hospitalized cases are vaccinated patients, but none of those are currently in ICU or on a ventilator. And I think that tracks what we've been hearing about. If you're vaccinated, especially with the booster, that it's working more so against the variant. Most of this is being attributed to the new variant, which I believe is called Omicron, yes. So that's where we stand on COVID. So that's fire. Police. We have personnel changes in the police department as well. Officer Eric Curry has notified the chief of his intention to retire on February 10th. We're looking at an expedited hiring process to try to fill that position. We will go through all the same steps, and given that a candidate could go successfully complete those steps, it would be interviewed by the hiring committee, and we're going to try to have that vacancy filled quickly. That's our plan. So again, I just want to emphasize we're going to go through all the same steps. If we have an identified candidate, we're going to use the very same steps we use now for the hiring process. And then if candidate gets through those steps, then we would meet with hiring committee and we would decide whether or not to hire the individual. This is because we anticipate several other openings in the first half of the year, and our hiring process takes several months to complete, and we want to have as many officers, obviously, as we can in the department. A piece of equipment that was valued over $40,000 was stolen from Burger King. I think it was week before last. At the renovation site, and through the use of the cameras system and some very diligent police work, they were able to locate the truck that took the piece of equipment, and the equipment was recovered, and the suspect has been arrested, and kudos to the police department for doing that so quickly. And moving on then to cultural arts, sparkling wine tasting sold out for December. A holiday pottery event sold out also for this past weekend. And Art Ventures for December 17th was not sold out as of the committee meeting. 2 spots are left. Okay. And the Art Venture is the Lamaze Presents Glow Around the World Christmas Light Festival and Market. So, 2 spots. starting to work on, to schedule summer camps. And then 2 plays will be coming in January. And I'm going to refer you to the website to make sure to look at the requirements for each play. The one that's, I think, is The Tortoise and the Hare is a children's production. And Playhouse in the Park is requiring mask for attendance to that event. Okay. Sound work and lighting options for the theaters are continuing. And the elevator, we had submitted a grant request for $500,000 to the state capital project. And last week we made a presentation to that committee on that particular grant request. And then as far as building, planning, and zoning, Andrew Rodney's last day was December 3rd. His position's been advertised, and as of last week, we had 15 candidates. So internal interviews will be taking place over the course of the next few weeks with the hopes of having someone for hiring committee in early January. And that's our report.
Questions, comments?
I just wondered if we will be having any more of the vaccine clinics here at Evendale.
I have that. Do you happen to know?
I don't have any information on it. That was something Chief Howe organized through the Hamilton County Department of Public Health. I can certainly send him an email and ask him to follow up.
Just curious.
Yes.
I think it would be wise if we could get another of those events, maybe 2 more here, because they were extreme.
He has reached out to Hamilton County. I don't know if now that he's on vacation, if he still communicate with Hamilton County, but we're trying to get another one at the facility, so, at the rec.
They were standing out the door down the street, I heard. Very well done. Yes, sir.
I have a couple things. One, the Griffin Volunteer Day for this month was canceled. And we will be getting back together, I believe in March, on the second Saturday in March, is the current plan. I'm hoping to get a planning meeting between now and then to kind of go through, what we're looking to accomplish for this coming year. And also, just an observation on the website, if we could get the departments, whoever their representative is for their part of the website, to make sure that their information is updated. I just noticed some things that are out of date.
Where'd David go? When we need him. Bring that up to David.
Okay.
So he can do it. Any other comments? I just have a couple of things. Just want to remind you the CAC dinner is tomorrow night at 5:30 at the rec center. And they're all invited to attend. Also want to bring up the fact that the Sunshine Law, which Ross takes care of, but I kind of urge new council persons to attend in person. It's an enlightening experience to go to the Sunshine Law ethics, what it is. And but you will attend, or somebody will attend.
I sent a link out to everyone for the online, you're not
Yeah.
gonna do it online.
Okay. Oh, you can do it online.
You can do it online.
Yeah, so I was going to do it again.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I think you get more out of the online one
You do.
than face-to-face.
You do.
You guys all,
I've
everybody
got the
receive that?
link, yeah.
But Cynthia and I are your representatives for that. We passed that by resolution last year.
Okay. All right, but I just suggest you should do it. It's a good idea, and it keeps us out of trouble in the long run. And I do have my book here. I would like to set an executive session or a session of council sometime in January about the village was looking, you can either do it, we can either do it in the evening. I looked at the 18th, or we can do it on a Saturday morning if you like.
18th works for me.
18th is also Planning Commission, that's the only other,
Oh, what time is that?
6 o'clock.
Lasts quite a while.
It's CIC in the morning.
It always depends on the
CIC,
agenda. Sometimes it gets canceled if there's nothing on the agenda, but
we don't know whether it's.
What about even the 19th, just the next night?
see court's going on.
And I've got,
Does it ever go longer than an hour and a half?
No,
Want to do it at 7:30?
7:30? What if we set it at 7
On the
o'clock?
18th?
What if we set it at 7 o'clock? And we'll just wait around. 7 o'clock,
That's fine.
On the 18th.
yep, on the 18th,
And that morning is CIC, just.
that's correct. Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions, suggestions? Then let's go to the ordinances tonight. The first one is ordinance 21-79. And I ask for permission to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Ordinance making annual appropriations for current expenses and for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring it as an emergency. Ms. Karachi, you want to comment on that, or at all? Or
I mean, you've all seen the budget for the last month.
it's about $100,000 less than it was last year, is that right? 14?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, tax revenue.
The
We
ter-
budgeted 14.4.
14.4, going the same number.
We are going with the same number in the hopes that we'll have a little bit of turnaround.
Okay.
And it's, you have it well detailed in the ordinance.
It's all detailed.
Yeah.
Okay. I need a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So move?
second,
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 21-79 adopted as an emergency. Next, we have ordinance 21-80, and I ask to read it by title only.
So move?
Second.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Putoff.
Mayor, I'll be recusing myself from this vote.
Okay? It's a motion to, the ordinance is authorizing the mayor to set 2022 part-time employee pay rates and declaring it as an emergency. I need a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved?
Second?
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
yes,
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 21-80 adopted as an emergency. Next is ordinance 21-81, and I need permission to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
An ordinance approving a transfer within the fire department and declaring it as an emergency. I need a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Moved.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 21-81 adopted as an emergency. Next is ordinance 21-82. I'd like a motion to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
An ordinance approving David Bostrom and Doug Lohmeyer to the Board of Planning Appeals and appointing Kevin Gorsuch to the Planning Commission and declaring it as an emergency.
So moved.
I need a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Ms.
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Now declare ordinance 21-82 adopted as an emergency. Ordinance 21-83, and I'd like permission to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ordinance making appointments to various boards and commissions in the village of Evendale and declaring it as an emergency. I'd like a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can we amend it to add the rec commission person on this ordinance? If we know who that person is?
Do you know, Ms. Village, do you know?
Yes, it's Nicole Moran, which is a relative of Bill Goodall.
I don't know would that be a conflict on appointment of to a board?
I would recommend he not vote on it.
That's fine. Let's move forward.
Just don't vote
I will recuse myself from this.
on it. Okay, does someone want to make a motion to that effect?
Full motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
To add Nicole Moran?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Now, is there a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the amended ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht? Ms.
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Now, is there a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Now, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 21-83 adopted as an emergency. Next is ordinance 21-84, and I need permission to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
An ordinance approving the transfer of funds within the police department and declaring it as an emergency. This is to buy the new police cruisers. May I have a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Can I have a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Now a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Ms.
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 21-80, the amended ordinance 21-84 adopted as an emergency. Next is ordinance resolution 21-06. And I'd like a motion to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
A resolution appointing specialists in the fire, police, and service department for 2022 and declaring it as an emergency. May I have a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Now a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Now a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency, or the resolution as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
I now declare resolution 21-06 adopted as an emergency. Is there any other business to come before council tonight? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Council adjourned.